up, YouTube? It's your boys, Detroit Love, P-Duff Arcade Loft, Michael B. the Game Genie, and Nostalgia with another episode of the Super Game Room Dudes Friday Night Just Got Live. Let's do it.
Hey, what's happening, fellas?
What's up?
Remember when Dubs lied and said we weren't doing a show tonight? That was rude of him to do that without even talking to us.
Man, I've been here since 8:35. What's going on?
I don't actually think that's what happened, Mike. I think
No,
you
what
were
do you
the
think
one.
happened?
I think, well, this is, so you guys had a phone call that I wasn't invited to. Then I got the Coles notes or the Cliff notes, whatever you guys want to call them.
Cliff, baby, Cliff.
The Cliff notes. And I think, Mike, rumor on the street has it that you didn't want to do a show today.
That's interesting.
It might be. Is it true?
No. It's just, see, the thing is, we tried to have a conversation, and then Nostalgia's like, I'm too busy and important doing at-game stuff. I can't be bothered to talk to you, piss hands.
I was just busy. I was
You're
working.
just busy.
I was just doing work, bro.
And Carl was in bed when I called him, middle of the afternoon. Carl's just like lying around in bed.
Man, I overflowed my waterfall today. It was water. My whole backyard was just flooded. And I had to clean it up before my wife got home.
I understand. Anyways, guys, so tonight, this is kind of an impromptu show. What happened actually was
Right.
Dubs indicated to us earlier today he wasn't going to be able to do the show. Couldn't get in touch with Nostalgia because, you know, Nostalgia is an international man of mystery and apparently was too important and too busy to pick up the phone and just, you know, talk to us when we had a call. Carl was supposed to go to a movie with his wife, and then it was just going to be me and Nostalgia. We hate each other, so we didn't want to do a show together. And then Carl at the last minute goes, hey, my wife didn't want to go watch a movie tonight, so I'm free to do a show. So then I had to try to pull everybody together and get this together at the last minute. While these two nincompoops kept like saying, let's just go live right away. We don't need any assets or information. We can just go, right?
That sounds like a sad, made-up story.
Sad made up story.
So unbelievable. So unbelievable. Okay. You were on the toilet, you spilled your coffee on your leg, burnt your knee, and it delayed us for an hour. That's the story I'm sticking with.
Oh, son of a bitch. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to have a fun show tonight. We're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff in the gaming space. First off, we're going to talk about Evercade. Evercade had their first ever showcase this past week. Dropped some pretty interesting stuff. Nostalgia, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. They announced a number of different collections. I don't know what they are off the top of my head. I don't have anything prepared, Mike.
I do. Don't worry.
Okay, so let's get something up on
Don't
there.
worry, friend.
There's a few
Friend
things that they announced. There was a few collections. They also announced a really interesting one, Duke Nukem. So they've got a Duke Nukem collection coming out, and as a part of the collection, they're remastering Duke Nukem 1 and 2, which I think this is going to be the first time that that game's ever been remastered. So that's actually pretty interesting, especially if you're into Duke Nukem. So Evercade actually did a pretty good job with this this showcase event.
Yeah, I think this is becoming the new big thing for companies to do. I mean, we've got somebody else joining us now as well. Console Kits was supposed to Netflix and chill, but like any good YouTuber, he gave up time with his wife to be here with us. And oh my God, Ekong's here as well. All of the extended Dude family.
Oh wow! I didn't know we were the Dude family. That's kind
The
of
extended Dude family.
Duty. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh yeah,
I
we're
think
actually-
we joined live, dude.
So we're talking about the Evercade guys. Did anybody watch the Evercade Showcase?
I did watch this. I watched this. I just don't remember some of them just didn't appeal to me, but I found Duke Nukem interesting.
Well, Nostalgia had some prior knowledge about Duke Nukem. I didn't know what it was. He just wrote me middle of the week, and he was like, "What do you think about Duke Nukem?" And I was like, "It's okay." And he was like, "Well then," and then never talked to me again.
Yeah, no, that's kind of how it went. That's pretty much how it went. But no, I think overall the way that they did this was really good. Obviously, it was pre-filmed, but they did a lot of animations. They kind of set it up so it's like almost like a Nintendo event. They kind of had like the transitions and like different splash screens happening in between things, and I mean, realistically, it did really much feel like a Nintendo Direct. But it was well done, especially for a smaller company like this. I think they did a good job promoting what it is that they've got coming out.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Nintendo was the first really to stray away from the whole E3 and that kind of environment and go with their own like event. And now everybody's kind of following suit, and some people are doing it better than others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is one actually, this collection that they've got coming out here. This is one that I've actually played. Another World. That's the one. Another World and Flashback. The games, like, they're super retro, but they're actually a ton of fun, and they're pretty challenging. I don't know if you've ever played any of these games.
Oh,
Anybody?
yes. Yeah.
These games are a ton of fun. So I'm actually pretty excited to see this collection specifically coming. And it's like the only games on the Amiga that I have any interest in like really playing at this point. So I don't know. I'm excited for this. I like Duke Nukem. What are you guys thinking about this?
Well, I mean, I'm not the biggest Amiga guy. Like, I do like Another World. I do like Flashback. I have fond memories of them from playing on like the Super Nintendo PC. This is something that's potentially interesting. It's an interesting title for them to bring up. I think, what is it? One of these is on the iArcade already.
One of those two games or just one of the four?
One of the two games.
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm trying to remember now because I remember talking to John about it when it came out, and he was like, "Oh, you're going to be blown away by the music on the Evercade." Not the Evercade. Not the iArcade.
I would hope he's not promoting a different product, but yeah.
Yeah, not Flashback. It's
Another
one. Yeah.
So nostalgia. There's no video for the Duke Nukem.
It's at the end of this. So it was their big showcase reveal.
Okay.
I honestly, I would expect it to be the most interesting. I think that when they announced it, it's probably the most exciting thing that they did announce. I don't know anyone who doesn't know the franchise of Duke Nukem or has played like the original Duke Nukem versus like the Doom style Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
So
I've never been a fan of the 3D Duke Nukem for some reason, but the original Duke Nukem, I was a big fan of it.
Like the side-scrolling platformer? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
I played a ton of Duke Nukem when I first got my first ever PC in like 92. Duke Nukem was like the biggest game I played on that all the time.
I think it was the biggest game out at the time.
Yeah, I remember Duke Nukem, but it was always like a game that you're like, I wonder if my PC can play Duke Nukem. Let's find out. You know? So it was, for me, I was like, let's see if it'll run in Doom, you know.
So the Pico Interactive, I think the one I'm the most excited about there, I just saw it was Legend of Silk Road. Was that the right one, or did we go on to the next card?
No, I think that's on this one.
Ooh, that tennis game looks fun. I'm going to give you a secret here right now. I actually love tennis video games. I don't know what it is, but like I'm addicted to them. Love tennis.
I thought they were all pretty dumb until the Wii came out.
Oh, love Wii tennis.
What are you talking about? Have you not played Mario Tennis for the N64?
I played it.
Like gold.
Mario Tennis for the Virtual Boy is what got me hooked. That game is fantastic.
Everything on the Virtual Boy was horrible, Mike.
Shut up.
No. Actually, the tennis game on the Virtual Boy was pretty cool.
It's really cool. Awesome.
It is good.
I call shenanigans. Either way, we've got an ad here, Mike. Let's just let's keep supporting that Beehive thing or whatever it is that we're looking at.
I mean,
I'm pretty excited. I don't know. I haven't played Flashback in a long time, but I remember playing it on Super Nintendo. I thought it was the only person in the world that even knew the game existed for probably a decade. And I remember playing it on Super Nintendo, and then I would find it on other systems, and I, would play it on other systems. And I always wanted to buy other systems just so that I could play Flashback on it. And I don't remember where I was, like somewhere I was able to play it, like on a 3DO, I think it was. And I think it was, and I don't know, it I think it probably looked the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
on the 3DO, like maybe, but I remember thinking this is even better on the 3DO. To be able to play it on the Evercade, that's kind of fun. I didn't know it was coming out on that.
Yeah, they did their big showcase this week, dropped a ton of titles. People asked us where we going to cover it last week. We didn't have any information except for showcases coming up, so now's our time to shine.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
I'm gonna get all of them because my good buddy Ryan from Castlemania Games, he sells Evercade, right?
Nice.
And so I'm hoping I can get some discount on it, you know. But maybe I'll get some coupon codes for you, bud.
Just
Although
asking for
Nostalgia, you get all the
cool guy
games for
discount.
free from Evercade, right?
I actually don't. I don't get all the games for free. I think Mike has more of the Evercade titles than I do. I get a few of them that are sent to me with the consoles, but they don't send me like the newly released games that are not in sync with any of the new devices that they're releasing. So,
Well, I actually bought a couple myself, so that's why I probably have more than you.
oh, that's possible. Yep.
I see.
Ooh, what's this Team 13 collection? That's more Amiga stuff.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like I said, most of what I saw wasn't super exciting. When they did show the kind of the roadmap of some additional releases that haven't been announced yet, one of them was an indie titles cartridge, and I really like the indie titles that they bring over. They're just like a lot of fun. If you're
Yeah.
looking for like good value, the indie title cartridge is really good.
Mm.
And I think I was excited to see more indie titles coming. But everything else is kind of like, it's not really my jam. I'm looking for stuff that's a little bit more
Modern. I know what you want, Nostalgia.
Yeah.
just like a little bit more modern.
So the last card I was super excited I got from them, which is not something I would have grabbed myself, but I fell in love with it, was Cathedral and what's the other game on that? Arcus Odyssey? No, that's not Arcus Odyssey. What's the other game? Ooh, Sydney Hunter. This is something you should be excited about. This is from Collector Vision Games, our good buddy Gamester81. So we've got the older versions as well as his modern retro version.
Yes.
It's really cool.
You're buddies with this guy, the developer of this game, aren't you?
Yeah, Gamester81. For people that have been around YouTube right from the start, like when the whole like retro gaming space first started up, like he was a legend in the space. He's got a website, Gamester81.com. I've put my content up on his website for years. Super really nice guy. Has been around forever. He's, how people call Glenn the Godfather of gaming. It might actually be John Lester. It might actually be, I'm doxing him. It might be Gamester81. It might actually be the Godfather of gaming. So,
oh wow. So here's the problem I have with Evercade. Like I've been hearing these rumors that you actually can't buy any Evercades right now. They're not available for purchase. The company hasn't paid their taxes in Delaware.
I don't think you're talking about the same thing.
For a while. And there's all these rumors that they're going out of business.
That would make sense if the company was even based in the U.S. I think that might make a little bit more sense.
I thought this company was in Chicago.
I think he wants to talk about something else. Justin, we'll come back to that later. Let's focus on Evercade right now.
Okay.
So, yeah. Pretty much that's it. Mike, go ahead and skip forward to the stuff that everyone wants to watch. Let's go ahead and get the juicy stuff. There we go. They even did this.
Oh my
Hold
gosh.
on. More ads. More
Oh,
ads.
yes.
You love those ads.
It's Benchmark.
Oh, dear God.
Mike, you are on a roll, brother.
Oh,
there we go. Look at this. Look at all of the stuff they did for
go.
this promotion.
Oh, Simon Miller. Nice. You guys don't know who Simon is, do you?
No.
He's
he does big stuff with Watt Culture Gaming in the UK. So he's actually an excellent person to bring on board for this. Simon's actually a wrestler himself. He wrestles and he's part of Watt Culture WWE. So great get for them on this promotion. And he's ripped. He's jacked.
Yeah.
You need a dude who's jacked up to play Duke Nukem.
Well, this just got
Look
a
at
lot more
this.
exciting for you, didn't it, Nostalgia? Jack
It
Dude.
did. Absolutely. It's the best. The best. What console was that for? The Land of Babes.
Well, this is obviously for the Game Boy Advance. I would imagine these are PlayStation 1, PlayStation
Is
2
it
games.
PS1? Yeah. I don't think anything PS2. I don't think the EXP.
See, this is what I remember. This is the Duke Nukem I played.
That's right.
Dude, they got
You-
widescreen support now.
Yes.
Woo!
This is the one.
Smooth
I like.
scrolling. Yeah. It's
Actually,
interesting.
That's kind of cool.
I actually have never played the original Duke Nukem. I got introduced to it later in the series, but when I see like Duke
that looks
Nukem
great.
1, it reminds me of an old game that I had on PC called Hocus Pocus.
Mm.
I don't know if you're familiar with that game, but it
Sounds
reminds
like
me of
a
that.
My Little Pony episode.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Carl.
All right, guys, those in the chat, I want to hear you talk about the Evercade.
Good job.
Justin, if I ever come to your house, I'm breaking that machine. So we got a super chat here from Console Fanboy, $4.99 US. Speaking of iArcade, since Justin brought it up, Messiah just made a great video. I shared it on my wall. His research is godlike. Long live the truth. So, guys, check it out if you're interested. Thank you very much for the super chat, Console Fanboy.
What's a wall?
I don't know what a wall is. It's
from MySpace.
It's internet speak. Yeah, it's this MySpace wall.
This is MySpace wall.
But yeah, this game here is classic, man. This is going way back. You know, you see, when you get into the 3D, I would rather have like Wolfenstein 3D. That's the game that I did. And Doom, those two games, Doom and Wolfenstein 3D. I love to see those things come on this platform or any other platform.
See,
Yeah.
Jason Villeneuve knows. Thought you were going to say it looks like Commander Keen. Anybody else here remember Commander Keen
I
on the
know
PC?
Commander Keen. Yeah, that's actually a good
I have
one
no
too.
idea who that is.
I actually want to play through these games because if I buy them on the Evercade, it's the first time I've ever actually purchased Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys ever played Wolfenstein 3D or Doom?
Oh yeah. I played a ton of Wolfenstein 3D. Love Doom. What's the best version of Doom, really quickly? Well, I don't want to get to that because I do want to talk about this. They're doing a new Evercade versus
Yeah,
console. Apparently, this is sold out now, but Nostalgia, I can see you eyeing this thing and thinking it's beautiful.
I
The
do think
Atomic
it looks.
Nuclear Edition.
I do think it actually looks really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's something that I'd buy. I never was ever into buying the themed or skinned consoles for
Skinned.
any console that I've ever
Yeah.
bought. Even when people are like, oh, I'm gonna wait. Like when the PS5 came out, they're like, oh, I'm gonna wait for like a Spider-Man skinned one or whatever. I've never been into that. I've always just liked the stock consoles, the way that they look, originally designed. I think this looks really cool, especially if you're a big fan of like Duke Nukem in general. Like it looks good. It's just not my jam. It's just not my jam.
Well, you pre-ordered it because you love it. Ryan Stroud says purchase 223 Canadian shipped. That's not bad, actually.
Yeah, that is actually a good price.
So anyways, guys, that was the big Evercade versus announcement. Obviously, Duke Nukem was really cool. Branded console is really cool. The fact they had Simon Miller came in. The overall presentation of the show was really well put together. I think it is fair to say, though, let's be honest, some people were maybe, whenever this stuff comes out, and people get hyped up and they want to see, they have expectations on, what games could be available. And maybe I saw a lot of people saying, oh man, I hope they do a Konami collection. I hope they do this, this, and this. Do you think there was anything that people were anticipating and speculating was going to be there that just didn't show up?
I think what you're saying is absolutely true when it comes to things like that. Like they've already got a Bandai collection or a Namco collection. They've done the Capcom collection now. Everyone's got it on their EXP. It would have been nice to see like a really big, like maybe a Midway collection or something like that. Like that would have been pretty cool. But I found it really cool that they did the remastering of Duke Nukem 1 and 2 because they're remastering it. It's not like they found a remastered version, got the license for it, and are porting it, they actually, like Evercade is the company that is remastering those games. So I thought that was cool because then, like, what else could they do? If they've got the capacity to remaster that game, maybe there's other games that they can do as well, and it'd be easier for them to get those titles, remaster them, and then launch them, and you kind of can experience a remastered version for the very first time on the Evercade. So you kind of get like a console exclusive opportunity to play those games. That's what I kind of took away from the whole thing. But I don't know if people are looking specifically for like a Mortal Kombat collection or something along those lines.
Conti Dinda throws up Nita Taito collection. That is one of the ones that I saw talked about quite a bit going into this. That's also one of the publishers that isn't like locked up too bad with too many companies. So that's possibly something that could have been done.
I wonder how that works. When with the Duke Nukem remastered, do you think Evercade requested the license and requested the development of Duke Nukem, or did the Duke Nukem team, if you will, search for a platform to put their game on and provided Evercade an exclusivity to it? You know, I don't know. I don't know the answer.
I think I know that, but I don't know for sure. I do have a very close contact at Evercade. So full disclosure, I do have conversations with somebody within the company, and I do obviously get the benefits of that by getting some free devices sent to me from time to time. And I'm not 100% sure exactly how they do all of their stuff, but I'm fairly certain with Duke Nukem, this was something they went to Duke Nukem or whoever holds the license for that.
Gearbox.
And proposed it and said, hey, this is what we can do. Nobody's ever done this in the past. I know the team, like I know some of the developers at Evercade, they're very technically competent. Like they know what they're doing. Many of them have spent years and years and years doing emulation and game development and stuff like that. So they have the skill set right within their studio to do that. My understanding is that they approached the licensor and said, here's our proposal. This is what we'd like to do. And they were able to negotiate something that was exclusive to the Evercade.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's probably a combination of, it's like marketing, you know, where you're like, hey, we could announce Duke Nukem remastered. That'll kind of spread. It's a good title. It's no one's played that in a while, you know, so we could bring back some flavor to the IP. But it'll be good for our platform. It's good for the IP. It's win-win. And then they invest that time and effort into the widescreen mode, which would work well on you know, the system that plugs into your TV.
Yep, the VS.
Yeah.
So Duke Nukem 3D is probably the gem of that collection. Like we're all excited for Duke Nukem 1 and 2, the other Duke Nukem games, but Duke Nukem 3D was the game where everybody fell in love with Duke Nukem. It's where his character transformed. He became the foul mouth, almost like Bruce Campbell from Army of Darkness type character.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the golden age. And then we waited for what felt like 23 years until they released Duke Nukem Forever. Now, that was a shit show. So that's the one thing that's going to go against this, because the last taste everybody had of Duke Nukem in their mouth was Duke Nukem Forever, and the franchise kind of died after that. And, you know, I think you've got to remember, this is the good Duke Nukem. Don't think about Duke Nukem Forever, because that Duke Nukem is not going to be forever. We can still play the good shit.
The only thing I'm worried about is when they ship these, do you think they'll get stolen? And then
it's always a possibility.
I hope it happens. If I don't hear another story about somebody cutting into the side of a I don't know, a sea can as they're being shipped over across the Atlantic Ocean, or the boat sinking along with all the sugar, then I think I'll be disappointed.
You know what I'd love to see is turtles. Like,
that's a tough one.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's Nickelodeon. It's Viacom, right? What is Paramount like?
It's a combination. It's Nickelodeon, and there's some tie-in with Konami too, I do believe.
Right.
So like you got to pay multiple people.
You just think it's like financially not feasible for them? Is that what
It's
you're
a big
thinking, Mike?
title. I don't know what their budget's like. I mean, they
Street
did bring
Fighter's a big
Capcom.
title too. That's what I was going to say.
That's
yeah.
what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah, but let's call a spade here now. They don't have Street Fighter in the cartridge format. It was an add-on game with the console. So there's still some limitations, right? Like it brought a lot of confidence to the company, but obviously there was some messing around that had to be done, that they had to be
Digital?
like on digitally on the console, as opposed to what Evercade is known for, which is they're a company that represents the continuation of physical media.
Mhm.
Then they did this digital media thing on the thing. So you're like, hold on now. So I understand what you're saying. That Capcom collection that is only on the Evercade EXP
EXP, yeah.
is amazing, but it's not a true representation of what Evercade brings to the table.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what's
it's a good
nice
point.
about the Evercade
What's
is
that?
they could go out of business and you could still play those games because it's cartridge based.
Justin, you seem like you have something you want to talk about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I think I do.
I don't know what you're talking about at all.
So yeah, let's transition there. We'll go there because you do want to talk about it. So and I'm sure there's people out there that are asking some questions too. There's lots of people that have brought up this topic in the course of the last week. So we'll just call it out right now. There's a lot of people that are reporting that the iArcade is dead.
Hold
They're
on,
making-
before we talk about
Wait, I thought we were
Evercade.
talking about turtles.
Yeah, we're talking about Turtles, and we got a question specifically about Evercade before we transition. Let's go ahead and pull this up. So Gigi asked if I think that Evercade is going to come out with some sort of a trackball, spinners, joystick, or something like additional controller styles for the console. I actually don't know the answer because I've never been told the answer, but I think it's like a natural progression for them. Like it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to put together like a secondary gamepad that they can just sell on their website and people can buy it if they want. Just a lot of the games that they did release could make good use of that. I don't know if that's coming down the pipeline, but I think it very well could. I don't think it'd be too challenging for them to develop something like that.
Is there USB proprietary?
I don't think so. Actually, I think that it supports additional gamepads. I just don't know which ones.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nostalgia, a close personal friend of the owners of Evercade and also part-time developer. He thinks what they're doing is really smart. All right, moving on. Carl, before we do, anything you want to say about Evercade? What did you think of the showcase? Anything
No,
you're excited
I'm not
for?
familiar with Evercade at all, so I can't speak on it much at all. But some of the games, obviously, like Duke Nukem, I'm familiar with. I would love to be able to play that. But I don't know that I would buy the platform.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of having cartridges because I
physical media.
dislike. I dislike this total digital the future. Where you don't have the cartridges to be able to sell or collect or trade. So I've never been a fan of the digital. So when I bought this 5 with the God of War with no disc, I was pretty bummed. That's probably why I hadn't played it much because it just kind of pissed me off.
You got the PS5 with no disc, eh?
That's correct.
What'd you do that for, Carl?
No.
It has
a disc drive. It just came with a digital download code.
The game with the download code. Yeah.
Okay. So Justin keeps bringing this up really quickly. Nostalgia, before you change the topic again. iArcade. So a lot of people have been reporting the iArcade is dead. A lot of people bringing up a lot of information on the background of the iArcade, especially Messiah Drummond has brought up some information about their tax situation and them filing their tax return. The thing is, we've been talking about this for weeks now. There's so many things that are out there that are, red flags for anybody to look at in the community. And it's frustrating when you talk about the red flags and then people are saying, "Oh, you're bringing up a false narrative." I'm a fan of the iArcade. I don't want to see the iArcade go out of business. I like my iArcade. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I enjoy it. But at the same time, I mean, if you're a reasonable human, when the owner says we're not making consoles anymore, we lost our building, we don't have anything coming out for a week. These are things that are concerning, and people, you can't just say, "Oh, well, everything's fine. Long live iArcade." So obviously, I think that people saying it's dead are jumping to conclusions, but people saying, hey, there's some concerning things here that we should talk about, that's a fair statement, right?
No, it's a completely unfair statement.
You piece of shit.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the arcade situation, I really don't know. I don't know anything. I think it's very possible that there's a situation where you're like, hey, look, you don't know the inside information. So why are you speculating about what's going on? That's fair. That's fair. But it appears to me there's enough evidence to say, oh, they're dead. They're so dead. And I don't care what anyone, obviously, someone else has another opinion. That's your opinion. I'm giving mine. I have no facts, but my opinion is Jong's doing damage control. And the only reason why you do damage control is if there's damage, right? Like, if you're doing great, say nothing, do nothing. It doesn't matter because you're raking in the dough. If people complaining about iArcade being dead hurts your business, that's when you speak up. And the actions that he's taken over and over and over again is either it's dead or he is in a highly emotional state. Just, coming from Korea and then being back and being sick. I want to say one of those things are true. Like either it's highly emotional space. I mean, you read his responses, you're like, this is not Jong. This is not Jong. We've watched him for years. I've met him in person 2 or 3 times. The posts that he's going now, that is not Jong. That's either, again, someone from a highly emotional state because he's sick or traveling a lot or whatever, or that's a person that's losing his business. That's my opinion.
Okay, we got a couple super chats to get through, and then we'll come back to this. $4.99 from Dre Gott. Finally got a Shack Jam, only to realize 1UP took the real T molding from around the control deck. The 3/4 jam deck really popped with the real molding. I 100% agree with that. Whenever I've switched from one cabinet to the next and I realize the real T molding is gone, I'm always bummed out. My original Arcade1Up Street Fighter cab had real T molding. NBA Jam 3/4 and Turtles 3/4 had real T molding as well. So
just around the control deck, right?
Yeah, it's just on the control deck, but it's still, it's really, really cool. So it would be nice if they could invest and jump up on that. So there we go. Thank you very much for the super chat. And we also have a $10 super chat. Hobby Hands, that is very nice of you, man. Man, that would suck having an arcade machine that had proprietary monitors, connections, and controls, and no extra parts if it fails. My Tempest PCB is dead. So yeah, good point, Hobby Hands. Thank you very much for the super chat. So,
before we move on from that, he gave us $10. The Tempest, they will still send out a new PCB or a new control deck for that. So contact Arcade1Up. Don't just sit on that dead PCB.
Thanks, Carl. I want to go back to what Justin's talking about now, and I'm going to be honest. After people made shows, I know Dubs did a show. I know there's been a lot of coverage in other places. Weekly Retro Party did a show. Jong made that very emotional speech on Facebook. And I have to say, it's good to see the passion from Jong, but at the same time, that post didn't do any favors. And he talked about, we're trying to be open and transparent, and this is what we get. But I think a lot of the problems have been from their secrecy and holding things close to the vest, because if they are fine, they are working on things, and there is a bright future, they need to instill faith in their fan base right now and kind of explain what they're doing and why everything's going on. Like, exactly like I'm saying, everything that's happening with iArcade is obviously troublesome. And from an outsider's perspective, a fan's perspective, it looks really sucky. So, I mean, you say, well, being outside and transparent is what got us in this mess and why people are saying all this stuff about us. I don't think you've been open and transparent enough.
I actually disagree. I think he's been too open and too transparent.
Nostalgia lives to just disagree with me. He just sits down.
It's not that. I just.
It's not. He's not playing.
No, I'm not trying to like just pick an argument, but I think like the announcement that they're not producing any more cabinets. That
never should have said that.
That's what I mean. Like too open, too transparent. If you're not making more cabinets, no plans to do that. You don't have to say that. If people ask, "Are you guys producing more?" Just say, "More's coming. More's coming." or there's more to come. There's ways that you can word it without like just saying like, no, we're not producing anymore, because immediately the first thing anyone thinks of when a company that produces hardware stops producing hardware, like regardless of how financially feasible the company is, the brand is, the licenses, the digital products that they provide, it looks bad. It doesn't instill any sort of confidence in the end user. And then it'll also negatively impact the existing users, because then they're realizing, well, what's going on here? Why are you stop producing hardware? If you stop producing hardware, you probably aren't going to be getting new quality titles. Maybe I don't want to invest in additional software for this platform because I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody wants to be in a position where they're buying digital goods and then have like the access to those digital goods lost. So not that I'm saying that's happening, but I think they're being too transparent. So I think that's honestly what I think started all of this. Right?
Yeah, that one statement, we're not making any more cabs. I saw that and I was like, wow.
Ooh, that's not good.
And you know, Conti Dinda from our community, I was having a conversation with him and he talked about it as a financial investor. Like when you go in to look at a company, financial advisor, when you go to look at a company, you look at the spreadsheet and you look for warning flags. And obviously a company that iArcade, sure, they're a software company, but predominantly have been known as a home arcade company. If they're not building cabinets anymore, that's going to be a red flag for pretty much just about everybody. So, I mean, I think that's what really started this off. There's been other things that have been out there for years, people with backstories about everything going on with iArcade, but that really solidified all those rumors and really pushed us to the point where now people are like, they're done.
Yeah, it's not a good position for any sort of capital investor, venture capital or private investors. They're gonna look at all of the same red flags that Zhang is announcing publicly and say, this doesn't add up, this doesn't add up. And I mean, we don't know what the financials are actually. We don't know what their monthly recurring revenue is. We don't know if that's drying up as well. If you look at like a chart of their monthly or quarterly sales, if those are decreasing, they certainly couldn't be increasing if they're not producing more cabs and not generating additional customers outside of their existing client base. I can't imagine that they're on an upward trajectory in terms of their software sales. So all of those things would indicate a pretty rough patch for them to try to get any sort of capital investment, if that's potentially what they're looking at. And that's assuming they even need capital investment. But
let me ask you this:
it's not good. Yeah.
You're familiar with e-commerce websites like Shopify?
I've never even heard of that company.
Okay, right.
So
WordPress, Shopify.
Sure.
If I had an account and I logged in as an admin to Shopify, and I was like, there's a front page image.
Yes.
A big hero carousel. I want to swap out an image. How difficult do you think that would be for anybody to do?
It's very, in fact, all of those platforms, Wix, Shopify, WordPress, everybody makes it easy to do now with like themes and simple drag and drops.
So explain what you would go to admin, you go to some widget and say edit, delete picture maybe.
Yeah, oftentimes you can do it. Oh, we lost Justin. Oftentimes you can actually like edit the page as you would look at it from an end user's perspective and literally edit it right on screen right then and there. It's very simple.
Why does iArcade.com have an ad right on the front for a sale? It is the call to action of their entire website when you go to it. That expires May 7th.
But maybe it expires May 7th, 2027.
It doesn't say which year. It doesn't say which year. Okay, so there's a special limited sale that's going on for an entire year.
Or more.
This is one of those things that like it's just not a good look. So these are the small little things that could be done. It takes 5 minutes to swap out a carousel image, and you don't need any technical knowledge. You do not need a web developer to make that change. I don't know what web platform they use.
It's Shopify.
Could be if it's Shopify is so. I built so many websites on Shopify. It is so easy to use Shopify. You need zero experience. You could get somebody fresh that has any sort of computer literacy, and they could get on there and swap out that image in 5 minutes.
Even Mike could do it.
Mike might even.
I actually do run the website for my work, And I will tell you that my carousel is very outdated just because I haven't had time to build
There you
it.
go.
So I got to
Well,
do that this week.
Mike, clearly that means your company's going out of business. That's what it
Yeah,
means.
clearly.
That's it.
But
You guys are going to stop producing hardware now.
I think this is definitely a series of unfortunate events, and I think John obviously is a good businessman. He's been doing this stuff for a long time, but he's just not handled the situation right. I love John, but he's not dealt with this situation in a right way. You might be right. Maybe they shouldn't have said anything, but I mean they just put so many red flags out there in the last little while. They keep talking about this new thing that they're doing, and they're like, "You got to see." And I do want to talk about that a little bit. Let's play. Say for example, they are transitioning. The reason they don't have money right now because someone brought up they don't have the resources to make new cabs. They apparently have this unpaid tax bill. They haven't submitted their new taxes because maybe they don't have the cash flow right now. Maybe the resources are tied up. What do you think this new project they're possibly working on is? Do you think that they're going to transition from the home arcade space and then try to go on PCs and be an alternative to
Like an stream or
Steam
something like that?
or
I think they're
Andstream
gonna
or
try
something
to
like
raise
that?
their ceiling, is what I heard.
They're going to what?
They're going to raise their debt ceiling, and then everything will be fine. Sorry, the Canadians don't understand, but in America, the debt ceiling was reached, and then they raised
I
it.
think I understand. You're saying they're just going to print more money, and
They're
then
gonna print more money. They
they're
need
just gonna print more
permission
money.
to print more money.
we
Well,
know
you
all
can-
about debt here in Canada.
you can
don't
read.
you worry.
You can read into what you guys were saying earlier that they're not producing hardware, that they're going to now be a software provider and continue to provide software for their existing hardware as well as for, say, Android devices and that type of thing. So they could go into a developer type of phase, but who knows? We've talked about this previously. I mean, they've had a uphill battle in this space more so. I think the only person that had a rougher time was the Well Played, and
They're still alive. They're actually
Yeah.
not a home arcade company. They're a toy company.
yeah,
They're,
but in the
they're
space.
laughing. They
We're
don't care.
talking
They're
about
like,
in
"Whoop,
this
that one
space."
didn't work."
Yeah, we're talking about in this space. Going up against the Arcade1Up and at games, IRK has no retail presence, which by itself puts them at a big disadvantage because you just can't get in front of people who don't know that you exist without retail, right? And so they've always had a hard battle to fight in this space, and it costs money to be in this space. So, I hadn't heard much about this other than what you guys have talked about. But that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going under because without the capital to make these things, we've all gone through the pandemic and all seen the supply shortages and all those things which still exist and still affect the prices of everything. Now is way higher than it was prior to. So that just increased the hill that they have to overcome to produce their products. So they're definitely in a bad spot, regardless of what the outcome is.
Yeah,
Well,
a couple things before anybody else jumps in here. $2 super chat for Stringer Films. Speaking of fresh nostalgia, where you get that hat?
I got this hat actually at GameStop. I love this hat. It's my favorite hat. And if I walked into a GameStop and they had another one, I would absolutely buy it. It is my jam. I love this. I love this Batman hat. The best ever.
Yeah,
What else you
Batman's
got, Mike?
pretty cool. There was a comment here from Scott James questioning what I said, and he's rightfully so. I said John was a good businessman. I don't know if John's a good businessman. Let me clarify what I meant. He has experience. He's been doing this for a very long time. So it's surprising to see him respond in the way that he did. It was what I was trying to say, not necessarily that he's a titan of industry.
The thing that I find somewhat interesting, if the rumors are true that they owe a lot of them back taxes, what that would indicate is that they showed a profit last year. Because any smart business person will write off any and every single potential expense to bring down your tax burden at the end of the year. So if they're owing, I don't know, whatever it is, let's call it $100K in back taxes from tax year 2020, 2021, what would that be? Yeah, tax year 2021. That would indicate assuming that they have whatever 25% tax. I don't know what your tax rates are in different states, but in Canada or in Ontario, we've got like a flat 25%. You're talking that they would have had profits of 400K in order to have taxes of 100,000. So like something's not adding up. Either they hired a really bad accountant, or cash is actually not an issue, and whatever situation with this back taxes is maybe more complicated. Perhaps there's grants or government funding that they're waiting on receiving, and they've already got an agreement with the IRS to work some. Like, nobody really knows what's going on in that situation. And then in terms of like taxes that haven't been filed for 2022, tax year 2022, I don't know what the rules are in the state that he is, but in Canada, if you're a corporation, you have a little over 6 months to file your taxes from the fiscal year end. So if his fiscal year end is February, he might have 6 months, which means he doesn't have to do anything until like middle of August. So like a lot of this is speculation. A lot of it is just like pie in the sky information. People are making a lot of assumptions, and I don't think that that's necessarily going to do anybody any good. It's just going to create a perpetual cycle of people arguing and being confused about the situation. So
that's right. First rule of business: never report a profit. I work in the not-for-profit industry. We strive for break even.
I've been going out of business for 30 years.
Thanks for the super chat, Stringer Films. So, no one's going to jump in and think about what they might be doing. I mentioned this to Ristalgia earlier this week. Is it possible that, they'll probably never build any more consoles, but maybe they could look at doing software like on the PC, or maybe even look at working with another company, like maybe AtGames. Could they possibly bring their platform to AtGames, team up with AtGames, so iArcade users can also use their iArcade accounts on the AtGames hardware?
But their software is not what makes them great. Look at their UI. It's like, who wants
It's shitty,
that?
yeah, and their games are kind of shitty.
At best, they're good at integrating emulators on an Android platform, not Microsoft.
well, and that's fair. And I don't think that AtGames is running Android anyways, so it doesn't really mesh. I mean, AtGames is running like a custom Linux build.
And if they don't have developers on staff, that means they outsourced all that. And if they don't have the money on hands, how are they going to pay for the work they'll need to do to pivot? Yeah. Pivot is for sure the game of a failing startup. A failing startup I worked at, that's exactly what we did. We pivoted. And the company talked about that. They're like, we must pivot. And Slack is a great example. One of the biggest companies out there that did the best pivot. They're like almost number one in chats tool. And they started out building a video game, right? And then they pivot. They're like, the only thing great we actually built was the communication protocol for the game chat. And then they're huge now, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if iArcade... Look, I like iArcade. Do I have to give all my disclosures? Is that what we do? Like, I backed it, an early adopter. I have both of their machines. Flew to Chicago to hang out with them. Met Jong multiple times, and I'm the sole reason that I'll call it out. I'm the reason why the artwork is not marble, right? Bragging a little bit on that one. I don't want them to fail, but like I also don't want to lie to people. Like signs that I see are that's a company that's struggling, and it's only based on what Jong is saying.
Well,
but it all goes back to him. Like, just shut up, stop talking. If
it's not just based on what he's saying, because if you look at their website, again, they have outdated information. They have they have signs that says pre-sales for items which are sold out. The regular editions are all sold out. So if you have no product to sell and you announce that you're not making any more product,
that goes back to what he has to say. But I mean, Carl, you're right. I did a show with B. Let's check in on B. Let's see how B's doing. B, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see you. I'm glad you worked on that invisibility potion. Anyways, I did a show with B and Robert a while ago. And, we didn't have a narrative iArcade was going out of business. We were talking about all three companies, and is it possible they were going out of business, and bringing up real points that were real concerns, not concerns that were constructed, just legit things. And one of the things that really caught me off guard was how many people in the iArcade fan base really took offense to that. And I think another interesting thing I do want to talk about, one of the strongest things about the iArcade is its community, but also one of its worst things is its community. Like, it's crazy. Like, they can be almost like zealots and toxic at times, the way they respond to negativity about the iArcade.
That's the same with every community, though.
No,
not
it's a little
specific.
it's a little bit more. I mean, there's not people in some of these other communities saying we are 100% infallible, and that's the way it comes across, that anybody that has a legitimate complaint about the console is all of a sudden this huge hater of the company. I'm sure they have real haters, but there's people that are actual fans that are just like, I don't like this. And then they tar and feather you as, an iArcade hater. That's kind of the way it goes.
But why? This is weird. So Brad, I'm sorry, I don't want to dox his last name. Papa Brad has long been known for an iArcade supporter. He's the only person that I know that has purchased every game. Well, I don't know if he's purchased every game, because he's also has said that he's got some of them for free. So, but he owns like all of them, which would cost like $2,000. But his more recent videos is he's also like, yeah, I think there might be a problem with iArcade. Like, he asks a lot of introspective questions about iArcade. Are they going out of business? I don't know. Like, the narrative is, if Papa Brad thinks that iArcade might be going out of business, there might be a problem.
Okay, can I throw something out there just as food for thought? So let's assume what everyone is saying is true, that iArcade is financially struggling. They're going out of business, transitioning, pivoting, rebranding, however you want to position. They're changing what they're currently doing because what they're currently doing is not working. Before I jump into the why, it would be pretty clear that iArcade would have known this not a month ago, 2 months ago. They would have seen this months and months and months ago. They would have seen the financials, the trajectory of the company, all of those sort of things would have been known to the company for at least, let's call it, since whenever their last tax payment was due and they couldn't pony up and pay that tax amount. Again, we're talking hypotheticals here. Let's assume that's the case. Why would Jong then want to bring iArcade to the Cleveland Gaming Expo? Like, why would they take a booth if finances are difficult? Because those booths cost money. Travel costs money. If he saw there being problems with generating hardware, he doesn't have anything else to kind of take into the next step yet. At least, I mean, maybe something will come out in the next few months, but why would Jong want to commit to taking a booth at an expo if
why do you assume they have a booth?
Well, I don't know. Didn't they say that they were going to be there?
Yeah, Michael told me, hey, I'll come. At least we can hang out. I don't know anything about them having a booth. I just know Michael's going to be there. So representation from iArcade is going to be there. He told me they probably weren't going to have a booth this year. They had done it previously. At Games has a booth, but iArcade's just going to be there, from what I understand.
I don't know. When we were in Chicago, man, the conversations we had with them. Look, no one said the company was going under while we were in Chicago. That conversation never happened. But no one also said they would continue to be working there for the next year or two. That did happen. When we were talking, at least when I was talking to members of the company and associated around it, they were happy that we were all able to get together this one time because the future was unknown. They did mention the future was unknown. So to me, this doesn't sound out of place. I don't think they're scamming us. Go back to the beginning. We all wondered if we would ever get our products. The fact is, they shipped 2 different completely types of products successfully, and now hopefully integrating with Glenn. We all got what we paid for. We're all able to purchase more games. If they go under, it wasn't a scam. And at least we got that.
Really quickly, guys, super chat from King Creole. $5 US. Michael B, thanks for keeping it real. Nostalgia, you must have missed the live. Mike said they weren't boothing. they would just be on the floor. So
Yeah,
thank you very much for the clarification.
I don't watch Mike's lives. They're trash. They're just a waste of time. I can't.
He's talking about Michael from iArcade, not me.
Oh, I thought it was my bad. The other mic is good. This mic up here, no good.
How are your live videos doing?
Oh, I don't do
channel?
live videos. I don't waste my time.
Oh, because they were so fucking bad.
I've done like 3 lives on my channel. That's it. I got like
Stringer
4.5
Films,
viewers.
$2 US. You know why 1UP didn't copy iArcade's business model. Thank you very much, Stringer.
So then I would have to take my statement back. If iArcade is not doing a booth, then my point is moot and it's irrelevant. So, but
Yeah,
then I would also say being an employee of your company being present at a show doesn't mean the company is present. It's not representation of a company. If a Microsoft employee showed up to that event, that doesn't mean Microsoft was represented at that brand or at that show. So
yeah, it's like when we were in Ottawa, we kept telling everybody At Games was everywhere, but just because you were there didn't mean At Games was there, Nostalgia.
That's right, Mike. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what I kept trying to tell you.
$5 super chat from Wagner's Tech Talk. Enjoying the conversation. Just wanted to say thanks. As an iArcade owner, I truly hope they pull through this. Me too, brother.
Yeah.
I just want to have fun. I just want to see new games come there. I like talking about iArcade and other companies and saying, hey guys, like, I don't understand why you don't take more of a risk, bring in more like high-end games to try to sell your console.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be a lot of shovelware on a couple of these platforms, and maybe that's what they have. Their goal is quantity over quality, but I don't get it.
You
But
know, I hope
Hold on. Wait a second.
Turtles.
Wait a second. How is Kongs or Us in our chat, but not in our chat?
I told you he's invisible. He's invisible and he's lost the ability to speak.
It's just unbelievable.
He communicated earlier. He said he's entertaining his parents, and once they set him free, he'll.
But he's like,
Yeah.
No. What he's got us on screen to entertain.
So until iArcade comes out and really does something intelligent, well thought out, and constructive in the next little while, let's be honest, this narrative is going to continue. That the feeling is from people in the community, like you said, Justin, is it looks like they're going out of business. Hopefully within the near future, if there's hope, if they are moving in a good direction, they come out and clarify that. They tell us what these projects are they're working on, and hopefully whatever new project will also help grow the existing iArcade user base. I hope they don't shift to the point where, these units behind us become redundant. So we'll see what comes out in the near future. I don't know. I mean, it would be pretty poor of them if they were indeed on the brink of going out of business, doing work with Glenn and having Glenn invest so much money and time in a new deck for the console, as well as the money and time they went and put into a new UI. It just doesn't seem to make any sense.
Well, the deck is for the existing, like it's only necessary for like the original.
You're going to have a hard time selling decks if the company goes out of business. It doesn't matter.
No. I bet Glenn's already got it figured out. He's going to sell it to the people that are abandoned by iArcade. It's genius. Look, Glenn's probably waiting because there's some partnership, and he's like, you're going to purchase them, right? And then you're going to resell them. Like, yeah, okay, we're waiting for the deal. They won't fork up the money or whatever the deal is. Speculation, right? But if they go out of business, Glenn will be like, hey, guys, you still want these decks? Because I'll make them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's no platform fee that I have to pay iArcade. They're done. I'll just sell them directly to you guys. Oh, and here's a pie.
Well, you don't even need a pie, man. It's an Android-based system, so it's just as simple as getting USB access and then side loading a kernel on there that'll allow you to do whatever you want.
Yeah. Which I'm sure there's at least 2 teams that are just waiting for the email and be like, publish.
Yeah, it's not. I think if iArcade disappeared they just disappeared tomorrow. I think within 60 to 90 days, there's a feasible mod where you can just download any Android APK file, dump it onto a USB, and sideload it. I think that's very feasible.
Well,
As King Creole says, just solder the USB.
Let's be 100% honest. Nostalgia, you already know the hack is done. They just haven't been releasing it because they don't want to damage iArcade. Just tell the truth.
I don't know anything.
You do know it. You're the one who told me.
I don't know what
All
you're
right,
talking about, Mike.
let's get caught up on some super
Yeah,
chats.
good idea.
Best Around has a super chat for $1.99 USD. You unlock Cammy's classic outfit yet? I'm not sure who he's asking.
Oh, it's talking about Street Fighter 6.
Street Fighter 6, yeah.
Who's got
Cammy's
that?
classic outfit is the best. Believe me, a prepubescent 14, 15-year-old, well, I past pubescent at that point, 15-year-old Mike really liked Cammy's classic outfit. So
You would.
42-year-old Mike still likes Cammy's classic outfit too.
All right, Stringer Films super chat for $2. If you see John paying for a mission, then you've got props. And Gallagher Guy 88 super chat for $4.99. If they close, how do you think this will affect the dynamics of the home arcade business? Will At Games and 1UP step up, or would things get worse?
I'll make a bold statement. I think the entire home arcade landscape lives and dies off the interest that 1UP has created around the
Whoa.
space.
That's a bold statement, Mike.
I know. I'm a
was
bold guy. I'm a
Jeez.
bold guy.
Goodness. I love the iArcade. I like what they were doing. I love the idea of what they could do. I hate to say it. I think if iArcade disappeared tomorrow, I don't think it would change that much in terms of the landscape. The Arcade1Up, they've got the IPs. They got all the good IPs. They're going to continue to have all the good IPs, and they're gonna not have any issues, any hiccups. It's not going to negatively impact them at all. At Games, on the other hand, they do a multi-cade. You can already sideload their thing, and they've got it accessible where you can bring your own games right with a USB, plug your own PC into it, whatever you want. I don't see it affecting them either, because At Games is a very different product than the iArcade, and Arcade1Up is also a substantially different product than both of the other two. So I see it negatively impacting no other company.
And I agree. I agree. I don't think it's going to change the dynamics of the space. When iArcade was announced, their original cabinet was hideous, and I was not a fan. Jong made the adjustments. I still wasn't a fan of not having a backlit marquee. I wish I gotten the golden edition before it's no longer going to be made, possibly. But the one thing for At Games, so if they do disappear, then At Games regains the position of having the most ugly UI. So that's a plus for At Games. But for 1UP, it definitely will not impact them at all. Like Kits was saying, Justin was saying, the third parties like Glenn with their third parties for the At Games, obviously they'll give more value to this device if he's able to produce those and sell those to the existing market. But as far as the overall home arcade market, it's not going to change much with them gone, unfortunately.
Okay, so you're all wrong.
John?
You're all wrong.
We're all John?
You're all wrong.
Okay, I got
the 3/4 scale home arcade market fully hangs on Walmart and or Best Buy, not Arcade1Up. If Walmart is not selling Arcade1Ups or kind of now into the Best Buy world, the entire market's dead.
I think you misunderstand. I agree with you, but I think you misunderstood what we were talking about. It's interest from the community and stuff like that. How does that change? So you're right. I mean, if Best Buy says tomorrow, hey, we're not selling 1UPs anymore, but it's really going back to my point. Like, what got everybody into this? What brought everybody in? I know people said, well, there were multicades before this.
Walmart.
Not really retail multicades. So
Right.
It was 1UP, which was created by Walmart. Walmart reached out to tastemakers and put what do they call it? They did what's it called? When they put ad out there for companies to do bids
to build or something like that.
They took bids on companies doing this. Tastemakers was successful. At Games actually turned down the bid and then regretted it afterwards. So that's what started it. Also, it is Walmart, but that's what really got into this. I think if iArcade does go out of business, the sad truth is it'll suck for the people that really like it. It'll suck for the community, and it just does suck. It's a sucky thing, but it won't matter.
Yeah, but one thing's for sure is that games will survive.
Oh, cockroach! It will survive a nuclear holocaust. They ain't going
Until-
nowhere.
Until that sad day happens, and I'm not trying to say this, but I truly believe it. There will be one day in the future that someone won't retire, but they'll be forced to retire. Let me put it that way. And that's it. It's over. That games is instantly over when that happens.
You think so?
I don't think there's anyone there. It's PK and
Mhm.
investors, right? And then I think all the investors are older too. They've been with him for a long time,
Mhm.
and he's the head of the company. I think it's all him.
You don't think that there's a way that acquisition could happen from an external investor?
It could happen, but then he's the lifeblood of the entire company. He is at games.
I don't think that's true.
Or he can flip between
you're
100
smarter. You're
contractors
smarter than
within
this.
5 years, and the company still survives.
You're smarter than this. You know companies do succession planning. Why do you think they brought Nostalgia in the first place?
Name what person currently works for At Games that worked for At Games in 2010? Besides PK.
I
you, right?
I do know that I don't know who worked there back in 2010, but I do know that there's still a number of employees that work there that have worked there for quite a long time. For quite a long time.
When he bought out that other company, he gained a lot of employees. But they weren't with him from the beginning. And then some of the people that were with him from the beginning got laid off last year, 2 years ago. But he is the president CEO, and I think he is. They might as well just rename the company PK.
I think it's an interesting perspective. I don't know. I don't see any of these companies immune to acquisition. No. I don't see any of them. I don't think that there's any one of them that has a specific business model that wouldn't appeal to one investor or another. Even if somebody just wants to get in, do a cash grab with the brand, and then peace out 2 years later after they've made their money and then some. Like I don't see that as not being feasible for somebody out there that has the ability to, or a larger competitor that just wants to take someone else out. Right? Like,
yeah, the licensing alone is worth money for those who have licenses in itself.
Carl, do you want to read that super chat there, bud?
Super chat by King Creo, $5 US dollar. Michael B, get ready. They're about to be on you now like a hurricane. LOL. So
I mean, again, I state like all we're talking about here are facts. So, I mean, if someone's upset about facts and discussing possibilities,
wait.
I can't help you.
We're only discussing facts. What about the part where we're speculating? Is that
so we're talking almost everything that we're talking about is all speculation, man?
No, how are we speculating?
Hold on.
The only thing we said is
about the Arcadians.
The only thing we said was if they go out of business, will it impact the home arcade landscape? And it's a fact. I mean, honestly, it will suck for the people that
kind
own
of
the
an opinion, right?
It's an opinion.
I guess so. I guess that's
objective.
fair. That's not a fact.
For sure.
That is subjective. I agree.
Let's ask B. B, what are your thoughts?
Goddamn troublemaker.
He doesn't.
All right. So, anyways, guys, we're kind of beating a dead horse here now. We talked about all this stuff. We said that we're gonna see. Time will tell. It's only a little bit of time whether or not iArcade is going to rebound. They've got some kind of new strategy, or in fact, this company that we've been following for the last couple of years is in as much trouble as some of the warning signs show. So we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks. It's been an hour and 10 minutes, and Nostalgia said he only wanted to go for an hour tonight. So let's move on and talk about some of our other topics. So the other one I wanted to bring up really quickly, just let me take Nostalgia's shit off screen. He shouldn't be sharing anything.
I'm not sharing
He's the worst.
Anything. That wasn't my stuff.
Oh, maybe that was my stuff. So this is the next thing I want to talk about. I'm being selfish now, guys, and I apologize. So let me just share this here now. This week,
God, Mike, you and your pinball every single day. This is all we talk about. All right, Mike, take it away.
All right. So anyways, guys, this week, Stern Pinball finally announced their accessories package for the Godzilla pinball machine. was going really slow for some while. And
B's here now.
he got his Earth blades this week, so he's ready to go. Mine are supposed to be shipping. But anyways, Godzilla, the big piece that came out of all this, there's the Earth blades. Everything else was kind of already out. But the big one was this topper up there at $1,000, and people are really, really upset about the topper. They don't feel that it really brings a ton of value to the machine for the price that it's out there. What do you guys think?
I think they could have made this 1,000 times better, leaving the design exactly as it is, except instead of having like a fake blast coming out of Godzilla's mouth, they actually put like piping in there, and they had like a fog machine in the back that would actually blow fog out. I just think that would have been a game changer.
Kerry Howard did a fantastic video on this.
He did.
He played both roles talking to each other. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just put up a picture of a very similar topper that I think is high value, better than the version that they came up with.
All right, let's see what you got here. Yeah, I saw this earlier today.
It's nearly identical.
It's genius, actually.
Yeah, I think the Rush topper sold really well. The Mandalorian topper sold really well, but I guess they thought the feedback was, oh, they're so expensive. With Mandalorian being at 2,000, Rush being at 1,700, they wanted to do something more economical. But I mean, it was really, really, really questionable. The quality is questionable, especially some of the parts they use, like the lighting and background from the buildings with the fire in the windows. Really super cool. There's also a projector that shows Godzilla's shadow in the background. Also really cool. But in terms of like the figure itself is the same cheap figure that's kind of in the background of your pinball machine as it is. B, you wouldn't know because you don't have your Godzilla yet. But it's the same figure that everybody replaces. And then on top of that, the heat ray that they've got coming out just doesn't look good. It looks like a poor diorama. That's what you've got on top of your machine. So a lot of people disappointed.
Yeah, they have a couple of third-party toppers that have been out too. So that there's that UFO one that people were kind of looking at, and they've also have just silhouettes like you're saying. So official Stern toppers, I think Justin, you made this point, normally add value to the cabinet for that additional wow factor, and they just didn't have that for a game that was this. Was considered the number one pinball of all time. And I think it may claim its spot again at some point. There's a lot of hype for Foo Fighters right now, but I was looking at the rankings too, and it's the LEs that are really taking it for that top spot, not the Foo Fighters premiums, which is highly misleading since there's so few LEs out there. So I think it'll come back down at some point.
Well, yeah, I got some feedback very similar. Was whenever a new game comes out, there's an initial push to really bring the game up the ranks. But as time goes on, the cream rises to the top. And Foo Fighters is really good from what I hear, but I haven't got to play it. So,
You haven't played it at all?
Where am I going to go play it? We got two machines here. We got a shitty Guardians of the Galaxy Pro and a Deadpool Pro, which is great, but in horrible condition.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah, I think that tracks. I've been doing a lot of analytics. And when something new comes out, the early adopters are going to praise it more, right? So you get this spike of like positivity. Even with some of the products that I work on, like we'll push out code and then we'll canary roll that out to a set of people. And it's not till it gets to like this high saturation amount where the real data starts to come out. It's highly influenced by just frequent users, and yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. The premium actually, if it was just not the LEs, because there's like 1,000 LEs out there, and premiums would be kind of like the standard, like it drops it down maybe a little bit further than I thought it would be. But yeah. I can't wait. I'm waiting. I don't know.
Hopefully you get it soon. Hold on, we got a super chat here from Best Around. $4.99. Who's everyone's main character in Street Fighter 6? How do you like woke controls? How about that rollback in an arcade mode? You playing 5 or 12 opponents? Who here picked up Street Fighter 6? Nostalgia? I know you got a free copy, you shill bastard.
I don't deny that.
Yeah, I did not get it.
I'm an official Capcom influencer actually. So why don't you check yourself, Mike?
Yeah, that bar must be really low these days. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
will literally take anybody.
I heard a rumor that all you guys applied and all got rejected. What happened?
I actually I went
Goodness.
to apply, but the process was like, I don't know, long, and I was just like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, you just have to submit your YouTube channel URL and that's it.
Your dead YouTube channel, they were like, we need this.
We got to get Nostalgia in.
need it.
because it's quality over quantity, Mike.
That straight face that he said.
That's what he tells his wife too. She's like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
that was less than a minute." Whoa, baby! It's all about quality over quantity. You could have had a longer quantity of minutes, but it wouldn't have been the thrill ride that these 37 seconds provided.
Yeah, I was gonna say that 37 seconds was the best you ever had.
So Best Around had a super chat, but has anybody played SF6 except me and Nostalgia?
Not the final version.
You played the demo?
Yeah, we played the demo together, fool.
The demo? Really?
Yes, three of us. We did a live stream.
That's right. Oh, the beta.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
The beta. Yeah. So, who's your main?
So, yeah, who's your main?
Yeah.
I don't know. I played. I don't know. I played as the guy on the cover.
Mm-hmm. Luke.
Okay.
Yeah. Luke.
Carl,
About
you play any interest in Street Fighter and even Street Fighter 5? Nope. Not your
OG
jam.
Street Fighter? What about regular Street Fighter 2?
I mean, I have them here on my cabinets. I don't need them on.
You know what the fun?
computer on the.
Here's the fun thing about Street Fighter 6 that came out. So they included all 8 original Street Fighter 2 characters, and in the character select on the main select screen, they're in the same order as the original SF2 lineup. It was like Ryu, Ken, like E Honda, Chun-Li, and I was like, wait a second. Oh, that's really cool how they did that. So I thought it was a little neat.
So
to go back.
My issue is I'm a little backed up right now with games. I have so many games. I mean, I just finished Resident Evil 4. I am not very far in Tears of the Kingdom. I'm not in a place right now where I can dive into anything else. So I couldn't jump on the Street where I just have too big a backlog. I just couldn't do it. So no Street Fighter 6 for me right yet.
I am playing Ryu as my main. I just always have. I pick him every single time. Just into it.
Shoto horror. Yeah, I'm just picking up. I don't have a main just yet. When I was doing the beta, I was using Ken. But Honda has always been my character. I'm so happy that he's a regular. Who's showing off their Godzilla? Oh my
That's
goodness.
Justin.
That's Justin.
He did a mod to his UFO topper, UFO pop bumper.
Justin, it looks like you're filming with a potato though. You gotta up that resolution.
Yeah.
Dep.
Anyways, I'm taking them off there. So, yeah, Street Fighter 6 is out. Hopefully, I'm going to get a chance to play it in the next little while. Reception so far has been pretty positive. I wanted to ask you guys who've played it. You guys having fun? You enjoying it?
Yeah, it's funny that he called it woke controls. Do you guys know about modern controls using controller instead of a traditional 6-button layout? It actually makes the game way easier for folks that just want to casually pick it up and play and still want to hang and not feel like you're going to get smashed. So I like playing with the modern controls on the controller. It essentially, it's almost like Smash Brother controls where you have one button as your special and you move a direction to do a fireball. So you get one button, Hadoukens and whatever, and then everything else is just high, medium, or like low, medium, high, and you can kind of do it. So I personally like it because it lets me hang a little bit more. I'm sure if I played long enough, I could get a stick. But are you still using a stick or are you using modern controls? Nostalgia.
No, I've been using my controller, but I went into the settings and I used the classic control layout, so I don't have the modern setup.
Okay.
I'm actually a big fan of the idea of having the modern style controllers, just because it does open up the game to more people. A lot of those games, there's like a lot of people tend to like stay away from them, especially if they're concerned that they're not going to be good enough to play. Yeah. And it kind of levels the playing field.
It's funny. I got to look up that meme. I didn't know it was a thing, but yeah. Trying to be more inclusive. That's all it is.
It's not even that. It's just you get more people playing in general. There's you get younger people that are going to get into interested in the game sooner, and I don't have any problem with it. So I'm pretty sure they match you based off of what control you're using anyways.
So as long as it doesn't become, I know Console Fanboy talked about this a lot when he was playing Mortal Kombat on Fightcade originally, that people have their keyboards mapped to do special attacks in Mortal Kombat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Macros set up. So as long as you're not in a situation where you're trying to have a competitive fight and someone can just spam the controls, you're using classic, they're using the new, I don't really care. I think that the more accessible something is, the better for everybody. I agree with that. But as long as you're not punished for trying to play it the classic way, that's all that I care about.
No.
Yeah, there's some pros and cons for like missing a certain. You're actually missing some button inputs, right? Because if you're using modern controls, you don't have access to everything. But they make up for that by having auto combos. So you hold down a button, you keep mashing circle, and you can auto combo into a level 3 super, which is like my son did it on me. I was like, all right, my 6-year-old or my 11-year-old can do a freaking combo on me. And that's always the hardest thing in these modern games is can you hit somebody and then keep hitting them into a system. So
I see. Yeah.
nostalgia macros.
Well, let me know when Soul Calibur is coming out, and then that's what I'll
The best button mashing game out there.
Best around $1.99 super chat. Woke controls were made to lure Justin in. Is it working?
Would you pick it up? Would you pick it up, Justin? Is that something
Me or is it Justin Wong being lured in?
No, he's talking about you.
No.
Not even the single player mode?
Look, I'm not into modern games. It's as simple as that.
No modern games at all? You got a Switch?
I have a Switch.
You were not interested in the new Zelda game?
I watch my family, but it's like anytime I'm about to I think I want to pick up this modern game. It's like, oh, I have a catalog of games for retro that I've been wanting to get through, so I play through those. So I feel like I'm cheating on retro. I don't know. It's whatever. It's my thing, I guess.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
Some people say cucumbers taste better pickled. All right, guys. So moving on from Street Fighter, let's try to clue things up in the next little while. So one of the things that is probably not interesting to 90% of our fan base, but for you Canadian people out there, Arcade1Ups finally put up pre-orders for their deluxe cabinets this past week at Best Buy and The Brick. You can now pre-order Pac-Man Deluxe and Class of 81 Deluxe, $649.99. So the price is actually lower than we were initially told. We were initially told price point in Canada was going to be $699 for the Deluxe. So it's basically the same price that the what are they called? The Legacy cabs were last year. You're getting a BOE monitor. You're getting a better form factor. So very excited for the people that have been waiting for those. However, something really disturbing came out of all this. It turns out that here in Canada, these aren't coming out till August 30th, September, basically. On top of that, we're not getting Fast. We didn't get Star Wars. Now it turns out we're only getting the Pac-Man cabinets. So we're only getting Pac-Man Class 81. I did confirm with The Brick. The distributors decided not to bring Mortal Kombat in. So of the 3 cabinets, the only one that I was interested in buying isn't even coming to Canada. We can't even get all the Legacy cabs. So it's very concerning what's going on. I don't think this is on Arcade1Up. I don't think this is Arcade1Up's call. I think this is just a matter of the distributor basically not having confidence that the juice is worth the squeeze from bringing it in. But it really sucks for our Canadian consumers. And I don't know what's going to happen here. I mean, like, are we just going to get Pac-Man cabs going forward? Like, is that all they're going to bring? And also with the timeline on the 6-month and the limited variety, I mean, we're basically at the same level now as the UK, Europe, and Australia with what they get over there. So me personally, I'm extremely disappointed. So interested to hear what you guys think, why this is happening, why Canada is basically just getting Pac-Mans.
Let me ask you this question. Is it possible that Arcade1Up in Canada is going out of business?
It's possible.
I think, personally, I think that these machines with these distributors have been out for long enough that they can look at trending. And they can actually look at individual SKU trending and see what's continuing to sell, what sells out, and what doesn't sell at all. And I think now, at this point, there was a lot of hype for Arcade1Up for a long time. And they were pretty much grabbing anything new that they could get because you're testing the waters to see what people are willing to buy, and they're cool products, but over time the interest in it's going to diminish, and you're really going to end up reducing the available consumers to buy those products. So I think this is strictly strategic. I think they're looking at top sellers of all time, maybe even over the last 12 months. Pac-Man's going to be there because everyone and their mom knows who Pac-Man is, and it's probably one of the best-selling machines that they've got that's brought into this country. And I think they're going to stick with their top-selling SKUs and keeping it to that, just so that way the distributors aren't on the hook with hundreds, if not thousands, of machines that are not selling.
But how do you not bring in Mortal Kombat? I mean, how is that not one of their top-selling SKUs?
I'm not saying it's not one of their top-selling SKUs. I don't think it's their top-selling SKU. It may not even be in their top 2 or top 3, which is why I think that's why we're at. I would imagine that if it was a Street Fighter cabinet, that might have come in, but because I think Street Fighter has more, I don't know, staying power than Mortal Kombat. I think Street Fighter might be a more easy sell, I guess. There's still some stigma with like parents looking at Mortal Kombat as like a highly violent game, right? So like there's the potential that it doesn't appeal to a certain segment that Street Fighter might, but I don't think it's in their top 3, top 4. I'm not even sure if it would be in their top 5. I think it's all going to be like...
Oh, it's 100... Well, I don't know about the distributor, but for Arcade1Up, there's a reason it's in the Legacy line. So obviously it's in their top 4 or 5 games.
I'm talking specifically with trending within those distributors. Like
And
what's
markets.
actually being moved within Canada. So
either
Michael,
you guys
you
have any
said-
input?
Yeah, Mike, you said earlier this week you were really pissed because in Canada there's 2 things you can't buy: Mortal Kombat and a gun.
I didn't say that about a gun. I don't give a shit about guns. I'm not 19K Fox. I don't need a heat bag.
Carl, what do you think? You're pretty much Canadian.
Well, I mean, clearly, retail is always going to have limited spacings, limited stores, limited shelves to be able to put these things. These Arcade1Up boxes are huge, so they take up a lot of space no matter which retail store you put in. And if you got to take up some space, you got to put something in there that's going to appeal to both male and female. And Pac-Man is going to be that over a Mortal Kombat or a Street Fighter any given day, or even a Blitz, a sports game. Pac-Man is going to fill the space and leave the space faster than any of those. So it makes sense.
Really quickly, I want to bring up this comment by Chris Eek. Not enough Canadians buying 1-ups. Step up your game, Canadians. I bought every one.
No,
Like
no, but
literally
that's the
almost
problem.
every one.
The biggest Arcade1Up fan in Canada sold most of his
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Arcade1Ups. It's all your fault, Mike.
It's kind of a sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look who's back. Dun, dun, dun.
Back again. How is Spider-Verse? Tell your
He does
friends.
back.
Good stuff, man. Definitely a must-watch movie, must-watch movie.
Better than the first?
I think so.
A lot of
I think
people said the first one was the best Spider-Man movie that's been released in the last 10 years. Would you agree with that?
the first one,
Yeah, the first Into the Spider-Verse.
like better than the live-action movies.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, the first one was good. I really enjoyed the second one. So
I loved Across the Spider-Verse, but if there's one thing I know, based on Nostalgia's views on the Batman movies, he has shit takes on movies. So take it for what it is.
That's right. His favorite is Batman Forever.
yeah, that's not good, bro. That's not healthy.
That's a good one.
Do you know that every time he makes love to his wife, he sings "Kiss from a Rose"?
Hey, that's a good song.
Seal.
Baby.
That was the debut of Nipple Batman. I mean, I can totally
Yeah.
see why.
Yeah. So how was everybody tonight?
Oh, okay, man. We had a pretty good show. I
You had a
think.
pretty good show.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on until Mike was like, "Yo, Carl's back.
Yeah.
We're doing this." And I was like, "Oh, god damn it, Mike."
We're
Okay,
12
let's
minutes
do
over,
it.
though.
And then he was like an hour late on top of it. So, that's why.
Yeah. He sets up the stream and he's like, "Guys, we're going live." And me and Carl just sitting in here for 30 minutes waiting for Mike to join the stream that he
P-Dubs,
created.
I'm sorry. Like, these people don't seem to understand that you need time after the show is announced in order for YouTube to push it out to the audience.
I'm just saying, if P-Dubs was the one managing it, we wouldn't be in this mess, Mike. P-Dubs knows what he's doing.
If you picked up the goddamn phone earlier today when we tried to have a conversation with you,
Well, I saw your name and I was like, "Oh, this guy just wants to razz me some more." So
Yeah, I was listening to the show a little bit in the car on the way back, and I noticed there were a lot of mid-roll ads while I was listening to the show.
Oh,
Mike.
yeah. I tried to add more. See,
I mean, I
You got to pay the bills, right?
I was like, if there's mid-roll ads, Mike set up the stream.
yeah, that's right. I click the box every time. I'm honest about it.
It's like every box, Mike's.
No, there's only one
Well,
box. It's just
and
like
we had
No, there's only
ads
one box.
in the
you don't
in the
wanna
live
click on.
show as well, thanks
For
to Mike
children.
as well. So
what?
Yeah.
What'd you say, Justin?
No, what did Carl say?
I said that we had ads in the live show as well, thanks to Mike. So
That's
you know,
true.
they got double
Yeah.
ads.
Yeah, but we don't get paid for those. That was accidental.
Imagine you're like watching the stream and you're like, dang it, a real ad. And then Mike's showing an ad once it stops.
No.
Well, here's the thing. I think we can turn off the mid-roll ads once we start generating $35,000 per stream.
All right, he's getting rid of our ads. He's gone.
What?
So, anyways, P-Dubs, we were just talking about the situation with Canada. As we found out today, it was
Can we
confirmed
talk about something else?
Why?
Because
Yeah.
I'm excited about this. So, I caught a whisper of this along. I think like a few weeks ago, and then I completely forgot all about it. But the new Double Dragon game. Did we ever even cover this game
No.
on our show?
Can we finish what we were talking about, though? It's a little bit rude you coming in and just saying, hey, fuck you and what you were doing.
Oh, Canada,
I'm going to do what I want to do.
You're going to get your Arcade1Up.
No, we're not. We're not. That's literally what we're talking about. We're officially not.
Mike.
Oh, well then,
Mike.
what? If you're officially not, what more can we say?
That's it. Mike, we've
Oh,
covered it.
never mind,
We've
guys.
covered
We'll
it.
just do what P-Dubs wants to do.
Well, I'm with
This is
P-Dubs
fucking
on
game
this.
P-Dubs
You
Because,
wants
moved to the top left.
Welcome to
so
the show.
Look,
Well,
if we can
this
get
came-
Arcade to get this version, then my cabinet won't be a waste.
This looks super cool. Now, this came out. The news came out a few weeks ago, and I remember I saw a trailer. I think 19K Fox is the one who's super excited about this, right? And 19K Fox has sent us, I think, the trailer in our DMs or something about this game, and then I completely forgot all about it. It's been a month of craziness, right, in this community. But then, pre-orders are live. It's going to come out on all the systems, and
Even
I saw
Arcade.
yeah, and I wish 19K Fox was on here tonight, because 19K Fox actually put up another community post today. When I saw his community post talking about this game, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, this is coming out. And I have to say, man, between like the Ninja Turtles game and all that stuff, like I'm really digging these modern remakes of these beat 'em up games. Like, I think this looks super cool. It's something that we actually should have covered on this show a month ago, and we never did. So I just wanted to get everyone's thoughts about this. Are you guys excited about some new Double Dragon action? I think this looks pretty cool. But what do you guys think? And let us know in the live chat.
I hope you can get 50,000 on the first level. That's what I'm hoping.
I like the the gameplay style. I like when they recreate these games, or not recreate, but you know what I mean. Like they bring these games out into like a modern retro feel. I feel like the artwork's a little bit cartoony, like a little too cartoony, but that's just, I don't know.
Nostalgia, you ignorant slut. So, anyways, the big thing I really like about this, if you go look at the NES library, there's a game called Mighty Final Fight. Now, obviously, they couldn't port Final Fight. Capcom couldn't port Final Fight onto the NES. So they did this really fun kiddie version. And looking at this new Double Dragon game, I think what they've done here is they've really taken inspiration from Mighty Final Fight. They're going in that direction. Like, there's so much I like about this. I think it's cute. I think it's sweet. It's moving Double Dragon forward. They've already tried Double Dragon Neon. I don't know if people really love that. They did Double Dragon 4, which people love, but this is something really cool, really cute. I can't wait for this to come out.
Mike, can we stop talking about the topic you want to talk about?
Yeah,
Can we
let's
talk about the super chat here.
Yeah, this is important news,
Interesting.
Mike, that we need to address. What is going on? $2 from Galaga Guy. Is Canada getting Arcade1Ups anymore? Why haven't we talked about that
that's a
on
great
this
topic.
episode?
I
We should
asked
be
the question.
We should be talking about this, Nostalgia, don't you think? We have
I
a
agree.
very strong Canadian viewership, and they
100
deserve this.
100%. In fact, before the show, I even suggested this topic to Mike, and he was like,
And he
"That's a
said no.
stupid topic. No
Nobody
one's going to want to
cares."
hear about that."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. This is
ridiculous.
important.
You guys done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$5 from Ezekiel. Hey everyone, what's up? What's up, Ezekiel? Welcome to the broadcast. No, in all seriousness, Mike, you have those insider connections in Canada. Are they 100% certain that you're only going to get those 2 deluxe cabinets? Is that what you said? And then nothing else? You're not getting
There's
Fast
nothing.
and Furiosa?
No, Fast is already 100% confirmed. It's not coming to Canada.
Oh, wow.
Which, I said, okay, well, maybe that's a limited release title. But to hear that, like, the legacy Mortal Kombat's not coming, I mean, that is really piss poor. Like, I talked about I was going to be slowing down with 1-Up because I just don't have the room anymore. But, like, it's literally my ability to access this stuff has been completely taken away. So I know you guys look at this and you're like, oh, Canada, it's not that big. This is mostly a US-based news. But essentially, I can't cover Arcade1Up anymore because I don't have access to the product.
Mike,
What the fuck am I supposed to do?
You know who's to blame for that? I heard that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau actually is banning Arcade1Up from coming into Canada.
First it was guns, now it's Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I actually, this was really big news for me today because I knew about Fast, but like not seeing one of the legacy titles, one of their highest selling games, the distributor won't even bring that in. Like, it was really depressing. I don't think it's on 1-Up. It just sucks. And I wish there was something we could do. So if there's people out there in Canada that actually do want Mortal Kombat, I don't know if the distributor Straightforward Sales or somebody else, but start reaching out to them and tell them if you want this stuff to come here. I mean, there's got to be some way. Like, Jesus, I don't know what to say.
Everybody send Mike their B-roll footage of Mortal Kombat.
I'm not doing that.
Yes, please do. Please do. That's the only way he's going to be able to cover it. And it would crush him if he didn't have those opportunities.
We've got a super chat here from Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger.
So you going to pull it up?
I can, sure.
I did. I read this one.
Yeah, we read it, everyone.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's all
Not
good,
even
baby.
paying attention.
It's all
What's
good.
up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
So
what's
yeah,
up?
for a console fanboy, when a super chat's made, I get to keep all the proceeds. It all comes straight to me.
Actually,
I'll take it
that
all.
is true. It legitimately goes in a Nostalgia bank account.
I take it all.
And it funds the next.
He's gonna pay. He's gonna pay us one day. One day.
All right,
Well,
Dubs.
I told you, you just got to send me those nudes, and I'll send you all your money. That's it.
Dude,
I don't ask much.
Cleveland's got an idea. Weren't you gonna drive down here? That was part of the plan.
No.
Wasn't there like a meetup with Nostalgia, and you guys would meet up with Detroit and then go over to Cleveland?
No,
No way
Mike's
back
being
then.
a garbage man. He's being a garbage man. He won't meet up with me. I'm considering going to meet up with Carl, and Carl and I are going to be buddies and drive down.
And we all meet up in Valparaiso somehow.
If you got a Mortal Kombat, threw it in your trunk, went through, Canada wouldn't care. They would like, oh, whatever. Have
How
fun.
am I supposed to get it home from Kitchener?
Just
To
walk,
Newfoundland.
dude. It's not that far.
Just drive the whole way?
Newfoundland's an island. There's a 10-hour ferry
There's
ride.
a ferry. That's what ferries were made for.
Oh,
Mike,
boy,
Well, now you know how the
Just do it.
distributor feels.
just do it the old school way. You've gone soft, man. Just put some straps on it, put it on your back, and start marching, bro. What does it weigh? Like 60 pounds? You're telling me you can't carry 60 pounds with you?
We're doing this live stream, and P-Dubs is straight up editing his next video like right now. That's why he's like, okay. And then I got to.
I'm actually grabbing something that I got to show you guys. It's pretty.
He's all
funny.
like, let me do the voiceover real quick. Let me mute.
I
Sorry.
wish it was that simple. So, really quick while P-Dubs is doing that, some Canadians already have these. Our buddy Atul, he actually went over the border and brought his back.
Genius.
On top of that, there's other services people can buy them from Best Buy, get them shipped to a U.S. address, and then get Shipsy to bring them across the border. Just where I'm to, it's not accessible. I can't do it. It's
You got a Stern
basically-
pinball machine, but you can't get Mortal Kombat Deluxe.
That's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sucks to be you.
I am pissed off about it, and I am upset. So there, I'll just be honest. I don't like the fact I can't get these anymore. That sucks.
Hey B, what's? Do you have a monitor on top of T2? What's going on back there, buddy?
Oh, that's my second monitor for Dragon's Lair.
Oh, you got the
Dragon's
T2 in
Lair.
front of the Dragon's Lair.
I do.
Okay, I see it
Yeah,
now.
yeah, it's
Okay.
just up there. And I did the recessed monitor mod that somebody said they sent you and Michael B a version of this, and you never did it.
Are you talking about the recessed monitor?
No. That's not what he said at all.
That's exactly what he said.
You're talking about the kit,
Yeah.
Joel's
Yeah.
kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joel sent it to me. I asked him. He said, "Hey, I'm sending it to you." I said, "Okay." I said, "Do you want me to make a video?" He said, "It's not necessary."
Yeah. Well, he just
So
said that you guys
I
hadn't
didn't have a
done it yet,
chance.
so.
It's
No.
literally
Yeah.
the kit. The kit is literally sitting in a package right next to the machine downstairs.
Well,
Yeah,
So
it's
been sitting
okay.
there for.
He
it's
said it
been
to me
like
4
4
months
months.
ago, and I
Yeah,
just did it
4
yesterday,
months.
So
It's
I
been
did
4 months. When
I
he
did it
sent to me.
yesterday.
So-
Oh,
And
man, now I feel bad. Now I should. Now I should do it. Now I should.
So
do it.
I
Arcade1Up
actually
sent me a deluxe cabinet, but they said I didn't have to make a video on it. So I did.
nice.
So I do apologize about that, Joel. I ended up selling my T2 before I got a chance to do it, but I would be
Yeah.
willing to ship that out to somebody else. So
Hell
Joel, if you have somebody else in mind, I have no problem at my own expense shipping it out to them so they
Yeah.
can make avail of the mod.
It's
and
okay.
also,
He's not even selling them anymore. So
Oh.
you guys don't even need to promote it. But if you have it,
Oh.
do it. It's actually a decent mod. So
it's a really cool mod.
It's- yeah,
I
it's-
never got
it's-
around to it.
It's
pretty
cool.
good. It's good.
It's cool. Nostalgia. You think it's cool?
The recess mod?
Mhm.
Is that what we're talking about? I just wasn't sure.
Yeah. Do you think it's cool?
We haven't said it a few times, so
Do you think it's
Um,
cool?
yeah, I do think it's cool. I think
For
it looks
real?
Actually, for real.
For real with nostalgia.
Can they?
Really,
Canada?
Sully? You're gonna ruin that glorious character. by putting
Is that what you were looking for?
Oh, I've always missed the for real.
See,
thing. We had to bring it back. We
I'm
had
gonna
to
get
bring
in
it
trouble
back.
if I keep talking about this because what
Just
is that
1
closet
week.
famously known? What is that monster famously known for?
Coming out of the closet.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
It's
if I keep
been-
talking
we haven't
about
done the for reals in a long time. I missed them. So there you go. All right. Well, sorry guys, I missed last week and I was late tonight. Next week, we should be, provided everyone's schedule stays the same, we should be at full strength next week. So next week should be a really fun broadcast. Big shout out to Justin and B and everyone else who's filled in the last couple of weeks. We greatly appreciate it. What happens when you run a 4-person show? You got to budget 4-person schedules, man. So it's hard to get everyone here guaranteed every week.
Mhm.
But what are we looking at here? The new Quest?
Yeah,
New
MetaQuest 3 was
Quest.
announced.
Yeah, tell me all about it. I didn't actually see this yet. I still have my Quest 2, but I haven't played it in a long time, man. I've
Me
been so
too.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah. So they I think this was announced today. Maybe it was today or yesterday. I can't remember. But looks like we're getting a new MetaQuest version 3. It's got some upgrades, so you're going to have a faster processor in there. They've kind of
Nice.
made it a little bit tighter of a form factor, so it's less bulky. Not even that the Quest 2 was that bulky, but thinner is always better. And then what else have they done here? They've got new controllers, I believe. So the controllers are going to be more responsive. I don't know what that True Touch haptics is, so I guess it's going to be like their HD Rumble on the Nintendo Joy-Cons sort of thing.
Ooh, can you rewind to the controllers real quick?
Yeah, sure.
And are those?
Oh wow!
sensors?
So they're getting rid of the whole. You know how the controllers look.
Yeah,
on the
they're getting
Quest
rid of
2,
that
right?
light ring around the outside.
Yeah, the ring. Oh, so now it's more like a Nintendo Joy-Con these
Mhm.
days.
Yep. It
Yeah.
looks. It
I like
almost
it.
looks like the just like the Joy-Con actually.
All right, cool.
It looks
So
good.
did they move the sensors up on the face of the?
It
on the front
looks
of
like they've added more sensors. I
Yeah,
don't
'cause-
know for sure. If we can get like a shot of the front, you'll be able to tell. Because on the MetaQuest,
That's
was
how you play
nostalgia.
Street Fighter 6 with the MetaQuest 3.
on the Quest, there is
Yeah, so
4 of their sensors, one on each corner, and on this, it looks like there is 3 cameras on the front plus the sensors. So I'm assuming that allows them to do that pass-through technology that they had on the Quest Pro. Maybe not quite as good as that, but I think that's probably what they aim to do. Get some AR involved. And other than that, I think they announced the price point at $499
yeah,
Mm.
US?
100
US. I think it's
$100
$499
more.
US, which is definitely more expensive than the Quest 2.
Yeah.
It's a lot less expensive than the Quest Pro, though. So this might
That's
be a
good.
good step for somebody who wants to get into VR that doesn't have a Quest 2. I don't know that it's...
So I have a Quest 2, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, I haven't touched it in a few months. But I love VR games. I just been so busy with all this stuff. So should I buy the new Quest Nostalgia?
No.
Is
No, no,
it
no.
like are all the upgrades
Mhm.
worth it?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say, if you own a Quest 2, I don't know that now is the time to jump into the Quest 3. I think the price is a little high, and I think if you wait, 12 to 16, 18 months or so, we're probably going to get another version, maybe an upgrade in hard drive space, and the original ones will probably decrease by $50 to $100. Maybe at that point it might be worth doing an upgrade, but as far as I'm concerned, if you don't own one right now, it's probably best to wait to pick one up, unless you have to unless you're one of those guys that has to have the new tech. So
Peter,
I don't think it's.
You know what's funny?
something
What
to
you
jump
said
into.
there, you've got a similar situation going on to Nostalgia's wife. You guys got something in common because she has a husband, but she hasn't touched him in a couple months.
I would-
Mike.
I would wait because it's heavily rumored that next week Apple is going to release their first
That's true.
VR headset, and no matter what, it's going to disrupt the industry. So
It will. The thing with Apple is they don't do anything small, and they don't do anything cheap. So I think that the VR system that's going to come out from Apple is going to be more of a competitor for the MetaQuest Pro than it is for the budget MetaQuest 3s. So I think that'll be. It's like two different products, right? It's like comparing a Nintendo Switch to a PlayStation 5.
Is it like considering?
true, but
is
it would
like
still
comparing
rock the
apples to
boat, right?
oranges?
No. It's more like comparing bananas
Apples to bananas?
plantains. No. Bananas and plantains.
Okay.
But we don't know
Carl,
exactly what they're going to do with the price point, so it could affect the MetaQuest 3. Maybe they lower the price, for example, to keep their edge.
Yeah, if they're going to come out at a competitive price point and it's even the same or marginally better, even if it's less good, people will buy the Apple product because of the branding. So you're absolutely right. I don't anticipate anything Apple releases is going to be sub $500 though.
Yeah, the last thing they released that was a new product was their watch.
Okay, and what was the price point on that?
Was it $399 or something when it came out?
Okay.
$499?
I don't know much about Apple products. I actually don't have a single Apple product that I own anymore. I used to own a lot of Apple products. I don't
You're
own
not
any of
missing
them.
anything.
Carl, can you take care of this super chat for us, buddy?
What do we got here?
Right on the screen.
Love the show, guys. It's from Wagner's Tech Talk, $5. Love the show, guys. You're all awesome. Keep doing the awesome work that you do. Q3 looks cool, and then that's somebody put the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. Q3 looks cool.
Quest 3.
Quest 3 looks cool.
The Quest 3. Okay. And the AR aspect is impressive.
There you go. Thanks, Wagner. Appreciate you, man.
My Quest though says Oculus on it. Should I upgrade?
It says what? Oculus?
My
Oculus?
Oculus is Oculus.
An Oculus.
All right. So I came in late. So you talked about Arcade1Up. You talked about iArcade.
We haven't talked about Evercade yet. We should probably talk about
You
that.
talked
Yeah.
about
We used to
Evercade.
have Toy Shock and
Canada.
well played.
Are we missing anything else, Mike?
Yeah,
Or
we
or is
didn't
that it?
talk about at games really this week because there's not much to talk about. We talked about how they're resilient enough to survive a nuclear holocaust, and that's all really anybody needs to know.
And we also talked about if iArcade disappears, then their user interface would be the worst again. So
Oh.
Hold on.
I wanted
There-
to talk
there's
just for 10 seconds about Photoshop AI.
But can we just one more topic before we jump into Photoshop AI?
What?
So there was some speculation, and I think it was just confirmed actually today or yesterday, that Best Buy is actually not bringing in all of the different Arcade1Up cabinets into Canada. So I know that, Canada doesn't have a huge market, but I know there's at least a few people who are going to be a little bit upset about not being able to get their hands
I know somebody
on-
who's going to be upset. Here's one person that will be really upset, who's a huge fan of Arcade1Up.
Yeah.
Well, who is?
Come on, somebody press the button.
What's the button?
Fine.
What's the button? This one?
That was terrifying. But we need to go. We need to get beer. There's a limited edition run. We need to run to get it.
I'm getting called to go by alcohol.
All
So
right.
I'll
Sorry,
see you guys later.
Mrs. Brew.
Good
Well, I
night.
thought that was Justin's voiceover on that.
Later, B.
See you guys.
See you later,
All right,
buddy.
CB.
Everyone say bye to B. Bye, B.
Bye, B.
Thank you, B. Good stuff. Anything else on your list, Mike, that you missed?
No, that about covers it, man.
All right. Well, next week, hopefully, we can get the train back on the tracks with a normal show for you with all the hosts here and start at our normal time. So
Are
hopefully,
we going to
things will
do
work
a
out.
season 3? Are we doing an end of season 2? What are we doing
Yes,
here? about
we
this?
actually have a big season 2 finale planned, guys. We've been putting together a lot of funny assets and things. It's going to be a can't miss episode as we say goodbye to what was the Super Game Room Dudes during season 2. So you don't want to miss it. And we just need to make sure everyone's here for it, right? Like, we don't want to do it. Carl was out, Nostalgia was out. I've been out the last 2 weeks, but we're going to do it. And we're going to prolong the season 3 premiere just like we did last time because it was so funny.
I agree. We're still
No,
at
guys,
season
that was hilarious.
2.99.
Super funny.
It was so fun. I thought it was hilarious. We did a season finale, and then the next week we did like a reunion episode. I mean, come on, it was hilarious. Like, who does that? Like, we're not a TV show, but we're doing it for fun because it's funny. Anyway, that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be great.
It's so funny. Carl forgot to laugh.
Carl looks like he's asleep.
Carl is exhausted. He wants me to pull the plug, and we're getting there, guys. So do us a favor. If you enjoyed tonight's podcast, give us a thumbs up on your way out. That thumbs up means everything. Give us a thumbs up on your way out. If you watch the show and replay, give us your comments and feedback and reactions in the comment section after the video is over. Do us a favor. Make sure you check out and subscribe to all the host channels. And as always, you guys have a fantastic weekend. Carl, whenever you're ready, send them on their way.
Well, guys, if you want to save iArcade, the only thing that is available to be purchased is the premium tempered glass screen protector. So go out and buy that today. And until next time, we'll see you on the web.
Hey, let's do it again. Do it again. I wanted to get the full
It's too late.
facial.
It's too late, baby. Peace.